Okay, this is a special called meeting of the Jasper City Council, public hearing, Monday, August the 1st, 2011, Jasper City Hall, 465 South Main Street. Let the time show that it is 6:02 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Let the agenda, or let the record also show that all members of the Jasper City Council are present. Reverend Kenneth O. Lyons, would you open us with a word of prayer, please, sir?
Father, we ask for thy direction in this meeting. Just be on one accord.
Amen.
First of all, we'd like to welcome everyone to the People's House. This is the People's House, and we appreciate everyone for being here and getting here so that you know what's going on at City Hall and be informed. We'd like for you to please, though, if you would, put your telephones on either vibrate or turn them off before we get ready here, because we're going to be involved in some very serious public hearing here tonight, and there's many legalities involved. Due to the complexity of the legalities involved, as far as I know, there's never been a recall election in the city of Jasper, so there's not much to work on how to do this except to follow the rules that our forefathers of this city have laid down and the people that have voted on. And due to that, the complexity of this and the legalities involved, I'm going to ask the city attorney tonight to take my place and act as a mediator or moderator in this hearing. Come forth, Mr. Ratcliffe.
Under the Jasper City Charter that exists at the time of filing of the petitions, the statute provides, or the ordinance provides, that the filing of recall petitions, and there have been 3 that have been filed with the city secretary. These recall petitions were filed on July the 22nd, 2011. The officers subject to the recall petition were Councilman Willie Land, District 4, Councilwoman Tara Norsworthy, District 5 at-large position, and Councilman Tommy Adams, District 3. On July the 27th, 5 days after the filing of the petitions, and after verification of these petitions, the city secretary presented to the city council at a special called meeting the petitions. They were received by the council. Can y'all hear me? Can everyone hear me? If you can't, let me know.
Just a little bit louder.
Okay, thank you. On July the 28th, a joint request by officers, or Councilman Land, Norsworthy, and Adams was made requesting a public hearing. Now, this public hearing is under section 6.06 of the Jasper City Charter that basically reads as follows. The officer whose removal is sought may, within 5 days after such recall petition has been presented to the city council, request that a public hearing be held to permit him or her to present facts pertinent to the charges specified in the recall petition. Now, the purpose of this hearing today, to let the general public know, is to not allow a debate. The purpose of this hearing is to allow the officers to whom the subject of the recall is to present facts that they feel like is pertinent to the allegations of this recall. Again, this is not a debate. This is an opportunity for the persons, the subject to this recall, to present their version in response to the petition. Now, how we will handle this is we will follow the agenda which will be the first candidate, will be Councilman Land. I will read the petition that has been filed against him, and then I will turn it over to Mr. Land. If any councilman wants to, or any officer who is subject to the recall, would like to call a witness to testify, or to, not testify, but to speak on their behalf, the witness will do so at the podium and will address his comments to the council and to the general public. We would like to limit it, but we're not going to limit any councilman. We would like to limit it to about 25 minutes per person, but I'm not going to restrict anyone from having opportunity, each one of these officers, to fully address the petition against them. Now, keeping that in mind, I want it clear that we won't tolerate any kind of disruption in this public meeting. This public meeting is basically for those individuals who are subject to the recall, and it gives them an open forum to be able to address these issues. Keeping that in mind, we will proceed with our public hearing, and following the order of the agenda that is established tonight, we will begin with Councilman Willie Land. Now, Councilman Land's petition, and I'll read it. The pertinent parts of, I'll read the entire portion of it. Pursuant to Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of the City of Jasper, we, the undersigned qualified voters of the City of Jasper, petition for the recall and removal of Willie Land from the office of Councilman, District 4, City of Jasper, Texas, as grounds for which this petition recall is predicated. Willie Land is charged with incompetency, misconduct, malfeasance in the office, as evidenced by the fact that Willie Land failed to perform an adequate background check in regards to the criminal background of Rodney Pearson before making a motion that Rodney Pearson be hired as the Chief of Police of the City of Jasper, and voting to hire him. As further grounds, upon learning that Rodney Pearson falsified statements of his employment application and has engaged in conduct that is subject to the City of Jasper to multiple claims and lawsuits, Willie Land has refused to take any action in his role as councilman to terminate Rodney Pearson from his position of employment with the City of Jasper, to the harm and detriment of the citizens of Jasper. That is the petition that has been filed against Councilman Land. He is not limited to just the contents of specifics, but since the general allegations of incompetency, malfeasance, and misconduct was also alleged, it pretty much allows each officer in which that is used to address his capacity as a councilman. Keeping that in mind, you have now heard the recall petition that has been addressed against Mr. Land. I will now turn this meeting over to Councilman Willie Land.
With all, with all due respect, Council, we had previously thought that we would be conducting this hearing. So we had previously said that Ms. Norworthy would be the one to lead off. Excuse me. Ms. Norworthy would be one. Ms. Norworthy, I would go to you if we were in order.
Is that a problem?
No, not at all, not at all.
Do you need to read why they are in turn recalling me?
Yes, let me read that
Okay,
petition.
great.
I'm sorry. I was just following the agenda.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, sir.
Pursuant to Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of the City of Jasper, we, the undersigned qualified voters of the City of Jasper, petition for the recall and removal of Terry Norrisworthy from the office as council member, District 5, City of Jasper. As grounds for the petition for recall is predicated, Terry Norrisworthy is charged with incompetency, misconduct, and malfeasance in the office, as evidenced by the fact that Terry Norrisworthy failed to perform an adequate background check with regards to the criminal background of Rodney Pearson before seconding a motion that Rodney Pearson be hired as chief of police for the city of Jasper and voting to hire him. As further grounds upon learning that Rodney Pearson failed to falsified statements on his employment application and has engaged in conduct that has subjected the city of Jasper to multiple claims and lawsuits. Terria Northworthy has refused to take any action in her role as council member to terminate Rodney Pearson from his position of employment with the city of Jasper, to the harm and detriment to the citizens of Jasper, Texas.
Thank you. Let the records reflect, my name is Terria Norrisworthy, and we're here to discuss the current recall attempt that has been orchestrated by a certain small group of individuals within our community. Pursuant to section 6.06, entitled Public Hearing to be held under the Jasper, Texas Code of Ordinance. We have called the public hearing to be held for us, Willie Land, Terria Norrisworthy, and Tommy Adams, to present facts related to the charges specified in the recall petition. Let me be clear. The purpose of this hearing is to defend ourselves. Going back again, let me be clear. The purpose of this hearing is to defend ourselves against the unjustifiable and false allegations alleged in this recall petition. The Jasper City Code Ordinance allow for our officers sought to recall the opportunity to call a hearing and defend him or herself. Tommy Adams, Willie Land, and I will each make a brief statement that will enter into the records. Then we will call witnesses that will address the allegations that made against us. We will not take or answer questions from the public, from the mayor, nor anyone else, pursuant to section 6.06 of the Code of Ordinance. Public comments will be limited solely to the witnesses we have asked to speak on our behalf. First, I represent District 5 at large of the city of Jasper, and I've held this position for 3.5 years. Never have I had any questions regarding my decision making for the city of Jasper. I have always had the city at heart regarding my decisions. But now that the city council have followed the laws of the state and have made an independent decision to select a police chief, Rodney Pearson, who is more than qualified for the position, my competency is being questioned and the petition have been submitted. So why am I here today? All of this began when Mike Loud promised Gerald Hall the next police chief position through a Facebook posting by our former police chief Todd Hunter. Admits that the mayor Mike Loud promised Gerald Hall that he would be the police chief. Hunter stated, I quote, "Didn't think I need to campaign since it sounds like a done deal." And an email was sent from Todd Hunter's email address, which is thehunter@jaspertx.or, sent on Sunday, February the 13th, 2011 at 8:17 p.m.